And we're live here. Hey everybody, this is Brian Cummings with the E-commerce Business School. We're just going to chat just for a moment or two as we let people start to come on in. This is our Saturday morning live, and I have with me today EBS member and Book Flipping Profit System member Debbie Kane. And Debbie, so pleased to have you on here today. There had been a really interesting post that you made that I want to talk about in just a moment. So how are you? Glad to have you here.
I am really well. I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
You've been an inspiration to our community. You've been posting back and forth, people offering help. And there was a particular post that you made on our e-commerce cash flow page that was really powerful. I'm going to bring it up and show everybody here. And while we do that,
Great.
I don't know if you could see the screen, but I want to tell you there's some people that are watching us now. I want to welcome Lisa and David and Kurt, and Kimberly is here. Kimberly is another Texan like yourself. Where are you from in Texas? Debbie, where are you from?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're in Tomball, Texas, which is basically Northwest Houston.
Okay, great. Susan's here, and Candida is here. Peter is joining us. So good morning, everybody, or good evening.
Good
I know
morning.
that some of you, good afternoon. A few of you may be in Europe. I think Peter's from Europe. So glad to see everybody here. Let me show this post. And here we go. This is in our e-commerce cash flow page. And I had just created a post about attending your first Friends of the Library book sale. And Debbie, that was right before you went to a Friends of the Library
Yes,
sale, right?
it was.
So you
Oh,
responded here. Hey, Brian, we attended our first FOL sale this past Thursday night, the preview night, and you went on to explain your whole experience. Preview night was quite a fiasco there, and then you went back the next day and had a great experience. I know you've been doing some other things. You had one other a church sale that you attended. Is that right? That you wanted to share with?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. We got started with all of this, as you know, in January, and we took the bull by the horns. We just went for it with the training. We attended a workshop, and we've been using some of the tools, especially that website, booksalefinder.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that there was a church sale coming up in our area, like 15, 20 minutes away. So I prepared for that. I got there about 30 minutes early. I was a little bit discouraged. There was about 40 people in front of me. But as it turns out, this was an annual thing that this Catholic church does. And when you walk through the doors, everything was like shoes and appliances and clothing. And I turned around and I said, where are the books? You know, there's supposed to be over 5,000 books. And they pointed me to another section in that big auditorium. And as it turned out, I was the only book scanner there. Except for after 45 minutes, there was one book scanner who came in with his wife and a little toddler in a stroller. He stayed about 30, 40 minutes, grabbed about 3 books. I walked out with like 80 books by the
Yes.
time I was done. I got to scan everything. I got to type in ISBNs. I was sitting on the floor going through children's books. I had such a great time. I had so much of the staff there coming up and asking me what I was doing. And once I explained it to them, one guy was even saying, well, I sell on eBay. How would this work? You know, so I showed him, I gave of myself and some of the knowledge and wisdom I had learned from you. And everybody loved it. And by the end, people were actually on the floor with me and helping me. And well, what about this one? You know, it was a lot of fun. And I liken it to like a treasure hunt. If anybody likes to go out sourcing for treasure, you always had that little childhood dream of going on a treasure hunt, you know, or maybe getting one of those metal detectors and going, you know, and putting it on the beach to see if you can hear any dings. That's what I love about my little is it an EOYO scanner? I mean, you hear that little ding, 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 and you know it's a potential gold mine.
Hey, Debbie.
But
Debbie,
yes.
let's give people a little bit of context. It occurred to me that not everybody may know what we're talking about. And
Oh, okay.
And
I'm
Debbie's
sorry.
talking about scouting for books, used books to sell on Amazon. And she's using her smartphone and that little device that you held up.
Well,
There's your smartphone. And the device is a little Bluetooth scanner. It shines a laser light right on the barcode, right?
yes, it
Makes it very
does.
simple.
Yes.
So if, let's see, I welcome anybody else that's come onto the call here. Let's see. There we go, Clark and Greg and Jeannie and Tim. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Hey, and if you're interested in what we're talking about here, go to joinebs.com, joinebs.com/BFPS. That stands for Book Flipping Profit System. And you'll see that in the title of this post, the notes for this post. So, Debbie, was your heart racing when you got into that sale?
Like I said, at first I was a little bit nervous that everybody in front of me was a book scanner, but they weren't. There was nobody there but me, except for that one guy. So I got to take my time. I brought my little cheat sheet, so I knew exactly what you had taught as a reminder, which sections to look at first. So I went to military and history, and then I went to science. I looked at cookbooks and then children's books. I was there 6 hours, but it's because I was just having fun and taking my time and actually practicing, because we just got started in January. We went to some of the thrift stores and did a lot of practice there and got a lot of books shipped in. But this was my first event where you just have a day or with the Friends of the Library sales, you have 3 days, but this one was only going to be the one day. But as it turned out, I got to take my time and just, refresh myself with all of the things I had been training so hard with for a couple of months. And I really love my tools. I do. The way you have the settings, it just, I know that other book scanners there, I don't get worried about them anymore, because even if they're ahead of me and they're scanning books and buying their stuff, I don't have to worry, because I've got settings that you have implemented for us to use.
The Book Flipping Profit System settings.
That's correct. That they don't have access to. So, they're leaving money on the table that I go and just grab, okay, you're gone. I'm going to grab that book.
So it was easy at that sale, but tell us about the Friends of the Library sale, because that preview night was a different experience, right?
Yes, it was. And we prepared. And I would encourage everybody to prepare. You want to, make note of everything that's, that they say on the website, like how many books they're going to have, what the costs are going to be. But then I would encourage you to reach out to them by email, because they do provide ways of communication, and make sure that they don't have any buyer restrictions. As a book scanner, there might be some coming up that don't want book scanners there. We didn't encounter that. They welcomed us. We asked questions about the preview night and how early we should get there. And as it turns out, with this particular library, based on previous years, they actually hand out numbers a couple of hours early. So while this preview night started at 5 p.m., we got there at 3, and I was handed a number 9. So I was going to be the 9th one in the door. And then we left for a couple of hours. We went over to the main library itself and went to their gift shop and got some books while we were waiting. By the time I got back at 5 to 5, the line was out the door, and I saw people holding numbers well over 150. So I know there was close to 200 people in line, but I just walked right past them and I got in line. Because of the fact that I knew that there were going to be book scanners there, and I saw several of them with their scanners, I had made a decision that I was going to go to the children's room first, thinking that they were going to go to like textbooks or some of the other things. So I thought I would just stay out of their way since it was so many people. And I walked through to the children's room. They had it in a separate room that was probably 12 by 15, and a lot of books there.
I'm showing a picture of that room right now, Debbie, so everybody can see this.
Okay. Well, I can't see what they're seeing, but yes, and it was filled with a lot of books, but nobody was in the room. So I went all the way, and I actually brought my walker, if I can explain. I don't use this walker. I'm a cancer survivor. But when I was using it a few years ago, it's because I don't have any feeling in my feet from chemo. And I get by just fine, except with this kind of a circumstance, I was concerned that, maybe it was crowded, somebody would, knock me off balance. And, I wanted to have just a little safety net there. So I brought it with me, and I went to a back corner, and I was just dealing with one little box. Within, I'd say, less than 10 minutes, that room was filled with at least 100 parents and their kids.
In this little room, we're all looking at it. This is a tiny room, 100 people and kids.
At least, okay, my husband's correcting me and saying maybe it was a little over 50, but to me, I was back in the far back right corner, and I wound up turning this way with my back to the wall and the books on my right, and I'm having to scan sideways. And then people were reaching over me trying to grab into that box, and it was unbelievable. I was not expecting that. My little philosophy is always expect the unexpected, but I didn't expect that. So as a tip, you need to prepare and be and have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D, so that you can have fun. I mean, you don't want anything to spoil the fun of looking for your treasures. Within a couple of minutes, though, they did ask me to leave the room. They said I was taking too long in my little box, and to please come back the next day, because this was a Thursday night. And they said the kids will be in school tomorrow. You'll have full access. And they said just go to the main room, the big auditorium, the big lobby, and we did. But there was so many people that we heard comments from the staff. They had never seen a turnout like this before. If you look at, I don't know if you have pictures of the main auditorium. They don't have any shelves. Everything's in boxes on the table. You had people 3 and 4 and 5 deep trying to get into the same boxes. There would have been no way for us to work our way and worm our way through to try and scan. The couple of other book scanners all left within 45 minutes too. One of them had 7 bags, I noticed. I thought at first, oh my gosh, why couldn't that be me? But I immediately changed my thoughts and gave them thoughts of prosperity, knowing that ours was coming. And we did go back the next day.
Well, let me pause you right here, because I want to hear about the next day, but I want to give a little context. So Debbie is talking about, I think this is an annual book sale that is done in South Montgomery County. So this is it's called the Woodlands, and it's really part of Northwest Houston. And she's there on what they call preview night or the Friends Night. And so this is the first crack that everybody gets at all the books. And sometimes these sales can be incredibly popular in the community. Debbie, you said that somebody mentioned that they'd never seen this size of crowd before. Other book scouts will show up, and it can feel, well, anyway, for me, when I go to a sale like this and there's all these people, there's a lot of money to be made at sales like this. And I know you're going to talk about your results in just a moment. So for me, it gets pretty exciting because I'm competing against other sellers there and the general community trying to find the very best books. Let me welcome a few other people, and then we'll get into day 2. So Tamara's here, and Elizabeth and Penny. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Julia's joined us. Beth, Rolando. Good morning, everybody. Hey, if you like what you're hearing here, please come. If you're new to our community, go to joinebs.com. And if you want to know about book flipping in particular, joinebs.com/BFPS. That's Book Flipping Profit System. So Debbie, please, the next day, what happened?
If I may, and anybody make a comment, if you're part of my Facebook group, the Girl of Peace Facebook group, if you could just let Brian know, I would like to, know that you're here supporting me. But yes, we did walk out now on Thursday night. We had gotten some really good deals at the gift shop in the hour before the preview night. And I did manage to snag about 9 or 10 children's books before they asked me to leave.
Uh-huh.
And other than that, we didn't do any more scanning in the main auditorium. It was really we would have had to wait a couple of hours for it to thin out or something like that. We just made a choice for ourselves. We were just going to come back first thing in the morning. They opened at 9. We were there by 9:30.
So you left that evening disappointed, right?
Well, yes, we actually did, but I was trying not. I don't want to admit that we were disappointed because I don't like to be negative, but it was a little bit disappointing because we were so looking for. It was anticlimactic, I guess. We were looking forward to this for a month, and we thought we had done everything we could possibly do to prepare for anything that could possibly happen. But the staff wasn't even expecting this much of a turnout. They had never had this in all the years that they had been putting this on annually. We heard it 2 or 3 times before we actually left that they were just shocked. Literally people 3, 4, 5 deep in every box that you can see in that picture. And there was no way. And now some of the book scanners were the first ones at a box because they got in the door when I did, the first 20 people or so. But even they wound up leaving when we left. The book scanners that I did notice, they left too. One of them had just a few books. Another guy had 7. The grocery bags. They give you grocery bags at these sales, the brown paper bags. And we saw him loading up 7, and I thought, why couldn't that be me? I mean, we did everything we could to prepare, but it doesn't matter. We came back the next day. They closed at 4:30. We took breaks like a 5-minute break every hour and a half or so, but we took our time, and we went through and scanned everything that we knew would have potential profit. And we left with 203 books. But I would like to talk about that. We were doing scanning, and since we worked as a team, my husband was scanning using, like I said, the tools, and anything that doesn't have a barcode on it that is actually scannable, you have to take the identifier for a book, which is called ISBN, and you have to actually type it in to your the app, the book scanning app, and it'll populate that way. So he would just hand me the ones that had to be typed in while he kept going in a box, and I would open it up. It's usually found behind the cover page of a book, and I would keep opening up these books, finding where the ISBN was, and at the end of every box, I would just make a pile, with the book open. And at the end, he would he was ready for him to type, and I would just read it to him. So that's how we did it as a team. I would tell him what the number was, and he would type it in. And so we got through everything in that auditorium that was potentially profitable. What we loved was that the staff knew that they had asked me to leave, but the head of the event, her name was Deborah, and she felt bad that she had asked me to leave that room. And she was apologizing as we were leaving and encouraging us to come back because she wants to make money off of anybody who was coming. And we promised her we'd be back. Well, she catered to us that day. And that's a good thing too. That's another tip I want to give you. You call it chatting people up.
Yep.
I agree. You introduce yourself. You tell them what you're doing, whatever. And this lady helped us. At one point, she brought out 2 boxes, like banker boxes, is what they're like, and they were filled with these English as a secondary language, are called ESL, and they were filled to the brim. And she said, "These are $5 a box if you're interested." And we went over there. We scanned just a couple off of each one. There was like one of them that we saw that there was 4 copies with a $7 profit. We knew that just that one box was worth buying both of them. By the time we got home, we had 100 books in there that were 95% profitable. I think there might have been just a handful that were. There's so much value in them, and we shipped off out of those 203 books. Yesterday, we shipped off 184, and I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
Out of the 184. There was a potential $3,515 in possible gross sales, but our net profit off that is going to be $1,566.04 or more. Because some of the prices can change to where you can, on textbooks especially, you can raise the prices as you monitor it. But for a few hours work, I mean, what job can you go to for half a day and make $1,500 in your pocket after all expenses are paid? And that means the cost of the books, which averaged about 43 cents each. I mean, they were ranging from 25 cents to $1. Our books, from what we paid, cost us 43 cents each, if you want to average it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know of a single job that I could go and apply myself for, even after years of college, where you can make $1,500 in a few hours, unless you're a brain surgeon, maybe. But
aren't they fun? Aren't these sales fun?
They are so much fun. I am having the best time of my life, and I've been in e-commerce for almost 4 years, and it's been tedious at best. This is easy.
What's John's take on all this? Your husband, John, he's attended with you. You're the one running the scanner, right?
No, he runs the scanner unless I'm alone.
Uh-huh.
And I've gone out, like I said, to that church sale. I went by myself because he was busy processing books at home. But no, he tends to run the scanner. Unless he's taking a break, then I'll do the scanner. We kind of tag team. But he's not on camera, but he's going to say something if you can hear him.
Sure.
I have been doing running an eBay at a bonanza store for 4 years now, and I work 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I almost never take a day off, and I am so tired of doing it. And this has been a blast. I love it. I don't see it as work. I mean, I love books, and while we're scanning, it's great. Even though we're cleaning and prepping our own books, when we get home, we're sitting in front of the television, play music or put something on TV, and we just scan these books and get them uploaded and shipped off. It's not really work. It's so much better than what I have been doing. It really is.
He's right. We are having a lot of fun, and it's time out. Because normally when you're running an eBay business and the way we were doing with the business model we were doing, we're here in this apartment, and that's it. You are chained to your computer. This is different, and we are so thankful for it. We are having the time of our lives, and the money. I can't say enough about the return on investment. So the thing I really want to share with people, that if they've already got the course, all you have to do is apply what you've learned. Just go and do it. If you don't, you're not going to make the money. But just go out, go have some fun, and like I said, it's to me like a treasure hunt, and I'm having so much fun.
Well, I know the excitement. It's the same thing for me. It's a treasure hunt when I'm out there. I wish I could do a Friends of the Library sale every day of the year. Wish they had them every day.
Yeah.
Do you have your next one planned?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. It's not a Friends of the Library sale, but some people know about a store called Half Price Books. And we have them in Texas, and a lot of them here in the Houston area. We did actually go in and scan some half price books, but the value's not there because they sell things for like $5, $6, $7, where you can go to a thrift store and get books for less than $1, or a library sale, or even the gift shops at the library. Everything's under $2, and it's much more organized and nicer than a thrift store. But this half price books on the book salefinder.com, we saw they had made a post a couple weeks ago. So we're going, and it's coming up next weekend. They're having their annual book sale where they have rented out in a strip center near the mall, this like 20,000 square foot office space or whatever it is. And there's going to be books, everything's going to be under $2. And it's coming from all of their books in Texas, all of their half-price bookstores in Texas. And they're going to be adding new inventory every day as space clears out. And it's going to be 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. you bet we're going to be there with bells on. It opens at 10. We're going to get there at 9, and hopes that, we'll, on Friday, that we are not, that an hour ahead of time is going to be good enough, because when I called to check on it, they didn't know how early to get there. So we're going to get there about an hour early, and we're just going to go through and have a blast, knowing that nothing we get is going to cost us more than $2. So
That's super exciting. In fact, I wish I could be there. Really, I wish I could be there.
I tell you, but I bet you it'd be worth the plane trip. The airfare.
It could be. I have a sister out your way, so you never know. Debbie, this has been so much fun. I really want to thank you for this morning and
pleasure.
You talking about the sale. Let me see if there's any questions. By the way, if you have questions about this, please. Cindy's here. Let's see. Let me give you a few comments here. Great job, Debbie. Let's see. I'm loving her enthusiasm. A couple of people just saying good morning and hello. Let me go down to the bottom here too. Let's see. Bobby is here. Good morning, Bobby. He's asking about what kind of support we offer. And we do have a Facebook group page, which I showed a moment ago, that had that post on there. And what I want to comment, Bobby, is that Debbie is one of our members, and she, along with staff, are providing support. In fact, that's what's so great about our community, is that the members of the e-commerce business school and the book flipping profit system are sharing all these experiences and tips and answering questions. So we have a really supportive community. Let's see. Susan says,
I wanted
great
to say
inspiration.
something to Brian. Is that what you said his name was? Who asked about the support?
Bobby.
Was his name
Bobby.
Brian?
Yes.
Bobby. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm a girl with the mentality of pay it forward. I love to do that. I get a lot of joy back. So, if you join the Facebook group and have a question, and if I know the answer to it, I'm going to respond. And I do this all day long, every day, because that's just what I happen to take joy from. So, yeah, but the coaches there are incredible. Whenever I've had a question or a challenge, I've gotten my answer immediately, within a few minutes. It's been wonderful. And I do the same. So, and I encourage people, post your questions in that group. Your answers will come.
Well, please, if you want to learn more, go to joinebs.com. And in this case, joinebs.com/BFPS for the book flipping profit system. Learn more about this program. Let me see. Any other questions or comments here? Christina is saying, great interview. Awesome job. Lisa's saying I should go on a road trip to Houston.
Yes.
Great inspiration. Tim, I saw a question from Tim. Can you scan with the Amazon app? Have you tried the Amazon app compared to the app we recommend in the book flipping profit system?
Yes, it's just not as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And also, so long as you have your settings, yes, you can use your Amazon seller app where you're using your camera, but it's not as efficient. This cost me $40-something. I mean, you're going to make that back within 5 books. I mean, to me, it was just really helpful. The other thing I went ahead and invested in for when I get home, because this way my husband is using the scanner if he wants to check for things like on here, how many days of sales in the last 6 months. It's something that's part of the training, which helps us make decisions. So we wanted a second scanner. So I got a wired one. So while he's cleaning and prepping books, we do things as a team and handing them off to me to list in Seller Central. I'll scan with this, which populates it too. And this is a wired one, which was very inexpensive as well. We also have we have a regular inkjet printer, but since Amazon doesn't like you to use inkjet on the labels that you have to put before you ship them in, I went ahead and got a Dymo.
Good for you.
you know, and it prints out the labels. I have everything right next to me. I mean, I got a little office space going on here, a big table you can't see, but yeah. So I just work right here in the living room while we're listening to music and chatting and talking, and we keep getting excited. Like, oh my gosh! Yesterday I pulled up a book. You know, I said, John, this book has a 3,900 return on investment. It was just one of our little diamonds that we found, you know, and we found several that were well over 1,000% return on investment. But that one, you know, it was close to 4,000. I was just so excited when I saw it. Those are great returns on investment. I mean, I don't know about anybody else here, but if you've ever invested or put money in a savings account, my mother used to do these little CDs. This is unbelievably, you cannot compare. And when you're having fun doing it too, it's not like work. It's just great.
Debbie, thank you so much for being here. You're getting lots of kudos over here, lots of little hearts. Jeannie has said, I really needed to hear this. Thank you so much.
Oh, Jeannie, you're welcome.
Yes. So again, thank you everybody for being here with us this morning. This is what we do every Saturday morning, our Saturday morning live at 9 a.m. Central. Again, you can find out more about us at joinebs.com and also joinebs.com/BFPS. Thanks again to you, Debbie and John. I look forward to hearing about your next adventure.
You'll be seeing it in the Facebook group. I'm telling you, when that Half Price Books comes up next week, I guarantee you I'm going to be sharing everything.
There's going to be a lot of people waiting for that post. Thank
Great.
you, Debbie.
I'll be there.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye now. Bye, everybody.